Hello and welcome to another jam-packed episode of My Favorite Conservative. I am Edward.
And I am Andrea, but I am not conservative.
Seriously?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah. So
But who is your favorite conservative?
you are.
Thank you.
Did you miss me last week?
I did. Welcome back to Andrea. You were suffering from a nasty cold, right?
Sinus infection.
Sinus infection.
We lived together. How did you not remember that?
I have a very short-term memory.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been live on video together.
Yes.
We had a wonderful guest, Randy Dillinger. Thank you again, Randy. Yep. And then that was when I was out of town, and then you were out of town. So it's been like a month since we've been live on video together.
Did anything happen in this last month?
Oh, we did our post-election
right.
wrap up. Okay, so we hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. We've been eating chili and pumpkin pie for days. I'm kind of tired of the chili. I'm never tired of pumpkin pie.
Agreed. We hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I think a lot of people on the right gave a lot of thanks for Donald Trump, and people on the left, well, we hope you're keeping it together. So
yes, and I am very excited because no more polls, which were mostly wrong. No more predictions. We can move forward with no election news, and we will be launching season 4 next year. Still working on that, but what are we talking about today as we inch toward a Trump presidency?
Yes, a new administration coming in. We are going to stay with political news.
Well, I hope so. We're a political show.
Well, yeah, but sometimes we do more other interests of immigration, things like that, but actual political news in terms of,
let's do it.
We're going to look at the cabinet that Trump has announced so far. It's important, I think, that Trump picks the cabinet that he can trust.
That's true. So we're going to give everyone a rundown on each person, and if we think they'll be confirmed by the Senate. So let's go.
I'm going to throw a curveball at you here.
Wait.
Totally off script.
Great.
Breaking news. Just earlier this morning, Donald Trump announced Kash Patel as the director of the FBI.
Oh, yes, that's not in the script.
It is not. It is. He just announced this morning. That is an incredible pick.
Okay, and tell the audience who Kash
Patel is. He's 44 years old, I believe. He is a former intelligence official. He's worked, I think, as chief of staff of the Secretary of Defense. And in Washington, the saying is that there's two people that the deep state fears. The first, obviously, is Donald Trump. The second is Kash Patel. Kash Patel actually was the one that uncovered the FBI's skullduggery, if you will, about the Russia collusion and everything else. Thank you. And yeah, he is a force to be reckoned with. He does, the FBI director, although not a cabinet level position, does have to be approved by the Senate. So it is a 10-year term, so they kind of vet you pretty well. This will be a really tough fight. So
really,
you think about it like this. You've got the left hates Kash Patel.
Okay.
A lot of deep state people are establishment Republicans. They don't want him coming in and mucking up everything because he's going to turn that FBI upside down. So it will be a very tough fight, but this is one I think Trump will really, really fight for.
Okay.
All
right. So other than that, first up, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. So we're going to talk about what each of these roles do. So the Treasury Secretary is the country's chief financial officer. Love that. Responsible for making recommendations on both domestic and international financial policies, including those involving taxes and the economy. The secretary also manages the U.S. debt. So tell us about Scott Bessent, because we do have a debt problem in the country.
A little bit, yeah. This is a very interesting pick because he's 62 years old. He is a hedge fund CEO. He was the founder of a company called Key Square Capital Management. The controversy about him is he has worked for George Soros in the past from, I believe it was 1991 to 2015. Okay. So not a short stint.
Right.
And he was one of the early people on the Soros team that was instrumental in George Soros accumulating his mass wealth when they basically crashed the Bank of England. So he ended up being the chief investment officer at Soros. So anybody on the right, and you hear George Soros, it's like, a vampire and daylight. So,
but there's some other pros here.
Well, yeah, I mean, he is an advisor to Trump's campaign. He's also a donor to the campaign. One thing that the left will have a real problem with is he's gay. Oh my goodness.
Wait, why would they have a problem with that?
Well, a problem denying him is because he is gay.
Just clarifying for the audience.
He would be the first LGBTQ plus to lead the Treasury Department.
Okay.
He is a supporter of the tariffs that Trump wants to threaten, if you will. And he's a very big supporter of Trump's energy policy because he believes energy is the key to this economy. I would agree with that.
So you already mentioned that he worked for Soros for a very long time, and that's troubling.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the actual confirmation?
I think he will get through because, the left obviously loves George Soros. So they're thinking, how bad can this guy be? And so I think this will be one of those kind of wink, wink, nod, nod. Let's go move on.
And being gay will get him support.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. For Secretary of State, current Senator Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State's job, it's the country's top diplomat and the president's chief foreign affairs advisor. If you remember, Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State under President Obama. So tell us about Senator Marco Rubio.
Senator Marco he's 53 years old. He is the senior senator from Florida, Rick Scott being the junior senator. He does serve as the vice chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, and he sits on the Appropriations and Foreign Relations Committee. So he's got a good CV there for Secretary of State.
Yeah.
He is a very vocal supporter of Israel and a fierce opponent of Iran, which is great.
I do like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has called for a ceasefire, which I think we're getting in the Israel-Hamas war. He did support initially aiding Ukraine, and I think he's kind of walked that back now, getting more in line with Trump.
Okay. So what are your thoughts?
I've never been a big Marco Rubio fan.
I know, and you're from Florida, if anybody knew what is watching or listening.
I mean, I followed Marco through his Florida House days. He was actually Speaker of the House of Florida, so he had risen very quickly there, got elected senator, and when he got to the Senate, he immediately jumped in with the Gang of Eight with John McCain and a bunch of other senators. And what that was Gang of Eight was a pathway to citizenship for illegals. Okay. Kind of not what we're looking for. So I just have a problem with his core values.
So what about his confirmation?
He will get through. Senators like to confirm other senators. I think the Democrats will confirm him because it opens up a Senate seat
in Florida
eventually. Yeah, when his term runs, and you won't have a super strong incumbent initially. So, yeah, he really hasn't been a real divisive figure. So I think he'll get through.
Interesting. You say divisive and I say divisive.
Crikey.
Yes. Yeah. If you are watching live, you can comment in real time. I just want to remind people, I know it's been a while. So we'll see your comments in real time. If you are watching on YouTube and LinkedIn, I'm never sure about X if we'll see those comments in real time. I never know. And on Rumble and Facebook, we don't see the comments in real time necessarily. So, but again, on YouTube and LinkedIn, we definitely do. And if you have any thoughts or comments, we will feature them. All right. So my favorite next, Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. And the job for this person is the president's top intelligence advisor and oversees all 18, I didn't even know there were 18 people, of the nation's intelligence agencies. Now, I am completely biased here. I love Tulsi, have for a long time.
Girl crush.
Yeah, girl crush, big time. Tell us about Tulsi.
Yeah, echoing your thoughts, when I saw that there are 18 intelligence agencies, I thought, okay, under this administration, that needs to be whinnied down to 4. Right? Do you need 18 agencies? Anyway, Tulsi is a young 43 years old.
Yes,
she is the former Democratic Congresswoman from Hawaii from 2013 to 2021. She actually ran for president in 2020 as a Democrat.
And I wanted her, man. I did.
Her metamorphosis, she became an independent in 2022 and a Republican in 2024. So you can see which way she's moving here. She is actually the first Hindu and American Samoan elected to Congress.
Yep.
Didn't know that.
I did know that.
You did? Okay.
I did know that. Yeah.
She is currently a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army Reserves. She is very critical of the U.S. support for Ukraine and any, I forget what her term is, regime change wars.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
She loves that one. And if you remember, when she was running for president, Hillary Clinton accused her of working with the Russians, and the Democrats are still pushing that today.
I know. Yeah, it's not true, really guys. And she was also put on the TSA watch list.
Yes, this is a former Congresswoman, high-profile individual.
Current military, yes.
Current lieutenant colonel in the military, and they put her on a watch list. So
yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I am not sure how much support she's going to get from Democrats. I think they're still a little bit upset that she has switched sides.
Yes.
I also think that they will approve her because the repercussions, she's a very high profile person that I
she's
think,
very intelligent, very well spoken. Yes. You also have a note here. She's got the woman of color thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That
you got the full woman of color. You know,
yes. Even though we don't, abide by that, we want the best person for the job. So confirmation.
Yeah. She's just too popular for the Democrats to reject. They're just so afraid of the backlash.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm really thank you. Oh, yes. I'm really happy to hear that. I really. This is a big job. There's no question, but I think that she can handle it. And what I really love about her is she'll be very thoughtful about it. So
I will say I was surprised at the pick. This is a monster job.
Yeah, I know.
And this is a big leap. But Trump, as you'll see as we go along, he's not afraid to take the big jump.
No. And thank you so much. We see even more of you watching live. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube and LinkedIn, you can comment in real time and we'll feature your comments. So don't be shy. All right. Next up, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. I hope I'm saying his name right. The Secretary of Defense's department. Yeah, sorry. The Secretary of Defense is the Defense Department's chief policymaker and advisor. Tell us about Pete, because I don't think I knew who he was until this.
Yeah. Pete, he's 44 years old. He's still a young guy. Yeah. He is the former host of Fox and Friends Weekend.
Interesting. Okay. Continue.
He was a major, actually, in the Minnesota National Guard.
Okay.
He served in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Guantanamo Bay. He was awarded 2 Bronze Stars. He is Princeton, Harvard educated, so he has a pedigree there. One of his major things is he has spoken out very vocally about wokeness in the military. Okay. That's his major thing that he wants to end. A very controversial position he is actually against women serving in combat.
And, ooh, I wonder what Tulsi would say about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
However,
there's been a little controversy.
There's a little controversy that's being worked through. He's been accused of sexually assaulting a woman in 2017, which he denies.
Which she has not. She's gone on the record, but not has named herself.
Correct. She's anonymous. Yes.
Thoughts?
This is a very controversial pick. Obviously, not a lot of experience.
I would say zero experience.
The Defense Department, I think, is the second largest department with about close to $1 trillion budget. I think it's the largest personnel to manage with all the military and the support.
Confirmation?
I'm going to say no. The Democrats, they want to scalp. They really do. But there's enough rhino squishy Republicans to deny him. So I do not think he's going to get through.
I don't think he's going to get through because the story about him sexually assaulting a woman keeps coming up. Like that keeps coming up over and over and over. So that tells me that they definitely will not approve.
Yeah, even if it's unfounded, that's enough to turn those squishy Republicans.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
And again, we'll only have a 3-seat majority, 53-47.
Right. All right. Next up, Attorney General Pam Bondi. The Attorney General is a chief advisor on legal matters and oversees the Department of Justice, which includes the FBI, the DEA, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and the U.S. attorneys, among other operations. Now, before we jump into Pam, there was another nomination that we need to mention.
Yes, the first name was floated was
Matt
Gaetz.
Gaetz. I just think of him as square head, squishy eyes. So
yeah, Matt Gaetz was until recently a congressman from the Panhandle, Pensacola, Florida.
Right.
But he that was one of Trump's picks where he really wanted somebody to upend everything, right?
Yeah.
And didn't give a crap.
And named him early.
Named him very early, and he was kind of a sacrificial lamb because Matt Gaetz has pissed a lot of people off.
Yes, he has.
On both sides of the aisle. I don't think he had a chance getting through. So I think
and he withdrew.
Yeah, it's almost like he wanted a Pam Bondi, so he threw up a Matt Gaetz to kind of, here you go.
All right. Well, in that case, tell us about Pam Bondi.
Pam Bondi. She's been around for a while. She's now 59 years old. She is the former Florida Attorney General for 8 years. So she was the first female Attorney General, served under Rick Scott and Ron DeSantis.
Okay.
She was part of Trump's defense team during his first impeachment trial in the Senate. So she's been with Trump for a while.
Okay.
She is extremely loyal to Donald Trump.
And he likes
no doubt.
that.
Yes. And as I said, she's replacing Matt Gaetz as the nominee.
What are your thoughts?
He wants her for her loyalty. She's spoken out against the FBI and all those court cases against Trump, which of course he just eats up. And she will play hardball with all of Trump's enemies, all the people that have tried to railroad him, tried to derail his first administration. So. And being Attorney General, you've got a lot of ammo.
All right. So confirmation?
Yes. By Gaetz being forced to resign, that should clear the path for Pam Bondi.
Okay. All right. Labor Secretary Lori Chavez-DeRemer.
Yeah.
I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The Labor Secretary oversees the nation's laws and regulations that address workplace conditions, as well as wages, unemployment benefits, among other work-related services. So tell us about, I'm not even going to try the last name again. Tell us about Lori. I had never heard of this person before.
Chavez-DeRemer?
Yes.
I guess. So anyway, I'm sorry. I think it's Chavez. I think that's a misquote. Chavez.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I mistyped it.
Typo. Sorry, Lori. Okay.
So she is 56 years old. So everybody.
A lot of women, by the way.
A lot of women. A lot of people like in their 40s and 50s. A few in their 60s. So this isn't, a grandfather's cabinet, which is great, actually. She was a Republican congresswoman from Oregon. However, her reign as Republican representative from Oregon was one term.
Okay.
2 years. So she won in 2022, lost in 2024.
Okay.
Not a lot of coattails there.
All right.
However, she is only one of 3 House Republicans in her short 2-year term there to co-sponsor the union-backed PRO Act, which basically would have made it much easier for unions to organize. Okay. Obviously not a huge Republican talking point.
No,
right?
No, not a typical one.
She voted against getting rid of the Department of Education. She's voted against school vouchers. She is endorsed by Randy Weingarten, who is the head of the second largest teachers union. And she is unfortunately embroiled in a controversy now about her spending on her campaign this past season here. She was somehow spending thousands of dollars on hotels and limos in Miami, in Dallas, in I think Martha's Vineyard. Yeah, so I can understand in Oregon, I can understand in DC.
Right.
But why are you going to? Yeah, so somehow she wants to live that life of being on the government, paying for everything, right?
Right. Didn't she also support legislation providing illegal immigrants path to citizenship?
Oh, yeah. It's just, my thoughts on this were, what the fuck? What?
You actually said
I did. It's like she opposes everything Trump wants to accomplish. And I'm just hoping he reconsiders the pick. It is an insane pick.
And confirmation?
I don't know whether she's got pictures or something. I don't know. Yeah, if she goes up for a vote, if Trump doesn't take her down, she'll pass, because the Democrats, if you're getting endorsed by the head of the teachers unions, the Democrats will vote for you all day long.
Well, but you always say that Trump plays 4D chess. So what do you think the motivation is with her?
He also screws up occasionally, like promoting Dr. Oz and a few other
he does.
people that, like, what was he thinking? So I have no idea why he picked her.
Okay. All right. For Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. The Commerce Secretary oversees the agency tasked with promoting the nation's economic growth. We have too many agencies. All right, tell us about Howard.
Oh, good old Howard. He's 63 years old. He is the CEO of the financial services firm Cantor Fitzgerald.
Very well known.
Is a billionaire. We know Trump likes billionaires.
Yeah.
It happens to be the co-chair of Trump's transition team. This is a non-controversial pick. If people remember, on 9/11, Cantor Fitzgerald lost more people than they lost. I think it was 500 or 600 people. His brother was killed there too.
Oh, I didn't know that part. I knew they lost.
The first plane hit their trading floor dead on.
Yeah.
And so he's going to get a lot of sympathy for the 9/11 and everything else. And this
I'm sorry, but sympathy shouldn't get you the job.
It should, but he's non-controversial anyway.
Okay.
So there's really nothing there to hold it. He's obviously qualified.
Okay. Homeland Security Secretary Governor Kristi Noem. Just so y'all know, the Homeland Security Secretary oversees border and immigration enforcement. Very important. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, the Transportation Security Administration, TSA, and the U.S. Secret Service, among other public safety agencies. With more than 230,000 employees and a $62 billion budget, DHS is the third largest cabinet department in the U.S. government. And I know who she is, but for those who don't know, tell us about Governor Noem. And I don't understand this pick personally, but continue.
Governor Noem. Yeah, she is, first off, she's 53 years old. So another, good age for people to actually be participating in our government. She is, as she said, the current governor of South Dakota since 2019. She was considered for Trump's VP pick very seriously until she came out with a book that said she shot her dog. Right? You remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
I do remember, yes.
However, what Trump loves about her, one of the things is she is a very staunch anti-illegal immigration advocate. Yes.
All right. Thoughts?
This one for me was a bit of a surprise.
Me too.
I didn't think of her name when I was thinking about this position. And one thing that really concerns me is her past when she's, as governor of South Dakota, when the whole NCAA, the college bathroom trans stuff came up, she was going to take it on and fight, and she folded within a week. And it was...
I know, I agree, but that has nothing to do with this current position.
But in terms of fighting for things that you really believe in, and to fold and then watch Ron DeSantis like 2 weeks later absolutely dismantle the NCAA, it was telling.
Well, he didn't dismantle the NCAA.
Well, their entire program of boycotting states. Yes. That's what he dismantled. Yeah. Yes.
All right. So confirmation.
Yeah. The Democrats are going to put up a fight on this one because she is such a high-profile Republican. Trump likes her because she's very loyal. She's a good-looking woman. He likes the glam, right?
Yeah. So she's definitely
he'll stand behind her, but the Democrats will put up a fight for this.
Okay. All right. So we'll see. CIA Director John Ratcliffe, of course, the Central Intelligence Agency oversees efforts to collect and analyze foreign intelligence that helps the president and other government heads make policy decisions around national security. And the CIA Director reports to the Director of National Intelligence. So Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi. Okay. Right. All right. So tell us about John.
John Ratcliffe. Now, by the way, this is not a cabinet level position. CIA falls under DNI. Okay. But I wanted to put it in because it is so important.
Yes.
FBI, CIA.
Yeah,
John Ratcliffe's 59 years old. He was previously he was the director of national intelligence in the final year of Trump's first administration.
So wait, is this sort of a demotion for him?
Well, Trump appointed him. He didn't go through the Senate confirmation. He did. I can't think of the term right now, but yeah, he installed him for the last year. And I tell you what, he released a lot of important documents that needed to be released. He's actually a former congressman from Texas from 2015 to 2020. He's also a former federal prosecutor. John Ratcliffe, my thoughts on him, he is an outstanding pick. I would have rather seen him as the DNI, the Tulsi Gabbard.
Right. Because he had done it before.
And he has, but you know what? There's a lot of work to be done in these intelligence agencies. And
but he doesn't need to be confirmed.
Yeah, he will need to be confirmed for CIA and FBI.
I thought you just said at the beginning he would not need to go through the confirmation
process.
No,
he didn't go through it
before. Okay.
Before Trump put him in.
All right, so what do you think? There was
yeah, he will. There's going to be a lot of pushback from Democrats. You know, he was not confirmed before, but he's got enough of the know-how, the experience. This is one of those that there's no skeletons in the closet that we know of. He's qualified. There's no reason that they can deny him this.
What's this note here? I just want to clarify for our audience. You say having been through the Senate confirmation process.
That's my mistake. That's my mistake.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, he was not.
Oh, okay.
It was a recess appointment that Trump put him in as DNI chief.
Good to know. All right. Here comes a good one. Here we go. There's two in here we didn't put in that I want to talk about. I'm going to throw them in there. And after this one, Health and Human Services Secretary, HHS, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., or as everybody calls him, RFKJ. So the HHS works to promote public health and prevent disease. It oversees the Food and Drug Administration, also known as the FDA, as well as medical research at the National Institutes of Health, NIH, and healthcare programs through the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, also known as CMS. And the budget is 1.7 trillion, T with a T, like T for Tom.
It's trillion. A big job.
It's a big job. Tell us what we know, and I'm going to throw a couple more things in here.
Yeah, I could have put 1,000.
I know you could have put a couple things.
He's 70 years old. However, he is the most fit, youngest 70-year-old you'll probably see.
Until you become 70.
Well, that's true.
Yes.
That's true.
Okay.
He was the former Democratic presidential nominee or candidate this year in 2024.
He tried to be. They wouldn't put him on the ballot. Most ballots.
So, he is a well-known questioner, if you will, of vaccines. No question about that.
Yes. And I know your thoughts. Actually, tell us your thoughts, because and when you talk about the skeletons.
Here's my thoughts. This is a bad pick.
Yeah.
He has no administrative experience. This is a monstrous job.
Yes.
The budget's huge. He has so many skeletons in his closet.
So many. Read the book "Ask Not" by Maureen Callahan.
Callahan, yes.
Ask Not. It's about all the Kennedys, including him. And after you read that book, you're just going to be like, no. I mean, just his. Yeah. No.
This is another WTF.
Oh, right? Yeah. Well, you know, it's not, because he came over to Trump's side.
But not for HHS.
I know.
There's other jobs out there.
I know. You could have given him, I thought, honestly, didn't we both say that we thought he would be EPA?
Yeah, or special advisor to the president on certain matters.
We really thought he was going to be EPA, because he's such a pro-environment person. But so what do you think about the confirmation?
I'm going to say no, because I think he will withdraw his name during the process.
Interesting.
I think the Democrats are going to pound him because they are upset that he's gone over to Trump, and there are so many skeletons in his closet.
So many.
I mean, and I just think
the way he's treated women, the anti-vax stance, there's a lot.
So I'm going to say no on that.
Okay. Do you think if he doesn't get it, that Trump will put him in a non-confirmation position?
Yeah, he'll throw him a bone somewhere.
Okay. Yeah. Two you don't have here, but maybe because they're not confirmation. Dr. Marty Makary Was he NIH or CDC?
You got me. I forget which one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dr. Marty Makary, love him. Read his books. We're connected on LinkedIn. He is just so thoughtful, and he's not afraid to go up against the AMA, the American Medical Association, even though he is a doctor, and love him. He's been against, it's not a cabinet
No, it's not cabinet level position.
But he's been nominated or is it nominated or is it just he's been asked to do it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he will have to go through any Senate confirmation. I do not think so.
I don't think so either. But so he's either NIH or CDC.
Right.
And then who's the other guy?
Dr. Jay Bhattacharya.
And he's one or the other as well.
Correct. I forget which
one. So I think those are both great picks.
Absolutely. Amazing. These two doctors recognized the whole COVID bullshit that was going on, and they put their careers and their names on the line, and
absolutely
very impressive.
Yeah. And since this is the area I know the most, that's healthcare. I care about it. All right, moving on. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins. The Department of Agriculture manages public policy on food, nutrition, agriculture, natural resources, and rural development. The USDA also oversees the U.S. Forest Service and the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. It was formerly known as food stamps, but they call it SNAP now. I'm not sure why SNAP falls under agriculture.
It's food.
But it's welfare.
I know.
Weird. Okay. Yeah. Tell us about Brooke Rollins. Never heard of her.
Okay. This will be a quickie. Because does anybody care who the agricultural secretary is? No.
Some people do.
Farmers do. Yeah. She's 52 years old. She actually served as Trump's domestic policy chief during his first term.
Okay.
So she's got White House experience. She knows but running an agency is a little different.
Yeah.
She is currently the president and CEO of America's First Policy Institute, which just that right there, amen to that, because we need to get back to America first.
Okay.
That's to me, this is a loyalty pick. Mm-hmm. She's been very loyal to Trump. Doesn't really have much experience, but that America's First thing, I think, is what got her the job.
Do you think she'll be confirmed?
Yeah, Democrats might just squeak a little bit, but nothing.
It's not as big of a position.
Nah,
yeah. Okay.
No.
All right.
They'll save their ammo for the Kennedys and whatever, right? Yeah. So.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. Doesn't Pete Buttigieg currently have this job?
In my thoughts, yes.
Okay. All right. The Department of Transportation oversees federal transportation policy improvements and safety, along with agencies such as the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, the Federal Railroad Administration, didn't even know that existed, and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Again, didn't even know that existed. Can we not just put all these together in one category? Yeah. All right, tell us about Sean.
Sean Duffy, he is 53 years old. He is a former congressman from Wisconsin from 2011 to 2019.
Okay.
He is currently the co-host on the Fox Business show called The Bottom Line.
Okay.
He also has kind of an interesting background where he first came on the scene in, I'm going to say it was 1990 something, where he was on, what was that MTV show, Real something or
the very first reality show.
Yeah. He was like
Real World,
the Real World Boston. That's how he kind of came on the scene there. And he did a couple Real Worlds. He's an interesting guy. He's like a lumberjack champion. He holds the records for climbing trees quickly or whatever.
It's agriculture.
It's interesting. Okay. But it's an interesting thought. I don't think the Democrats are going to put up a fight on this one.
Okay.
He's a very likable guy, too.
Okay. You have another thought here that I wanted you to say that's really good.
I do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's you. I was looking at could he be worse than Pete Buttigieg? I mean, seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he doesn't speak in word salads like Buttigieg does. And I think he can probably get things done. And again, could you be worse than Mayor Pete?
But do you think he'll be confirmed?
He will. The Democrats are going to put up a little bit of a fight just because of Fox Connection, right?
Right.
That's red meat.
What I do think is really fascinating about these picks is that the majority of people are not current government employees. They're not current politicians. Many of them are former.
Yeah.
But most of them are not current.
You got to remember, Republicans only have a couple seat majority in the House, 3 in the Senate. So if you start plucking
that's what I'm saying. He is plucking.
He is a few, so it's getting a little tight.
It is. All right. So Veteran Affairs Secretary Doug Collins. This is the one that you and I both thought Tulsi would get.
Yeah.
The VA Secretary oversees the nation's largest integrated healthcare network, which includes 1,255 facilities that serve 9 million enrolled veterans annually. The VA also maintains more than 150 national cemeteries. I don't think I knew that. Love it.
Yeah.
Makes total sense. Yeah. Who is this Doug dude?
Doug Collins, he's a great guy. I personally have always liked him. He's 58 years old. He is an Air Force veteran. He's currently a colonel in the Air Force Reserve, where he serves as a chaplain. So he is an ordained chaplain, and that's been most of his roles in the military. Former congressman from Georgia from 2013 to 2021.
Okay.
It's just one of these super nice guys that I cannot see the Democrats putting up a fight on this one. Yes, he's going to get through.
Okay. All right. Interesting that Tulsi wasn't the nominee for this.
Yeah, I mean, she got a huge position. So.
Yeah, she got an even bigger one. So
yeah.
All right, Interior Secretary Governor Doug Burgum, the current governor. The Department of Interior oversees about 500 million acres of public land, and I always thought that was weird. Interior land should be exterior, but moving on. And the fossil fuels and minerals underground. It also manages U.S. national parks, monuments, and wildlife refuges, and has relations with 574 federally recognized Native American tribes and Alaska Native entities. Again, why it's the Department of Interior, I don't know. Talk to us about Governor Burgum.
Governor Burgumentum, if you remember, back in not too long ago. Doug Burgum, 68 years old. He's a self-made billionaire, which we know Trump loves, right? He is the current governor of North Dakota from 2016 to the present.
Okay. So he might be termed out here.
Maybe. I'm not sure if they have term limits there, but they probably do.
Okay.
As he actually did run for president this past year in 2024 as a Republican.
Yeah.
He does look like what's the Sesame Street character with the eyebrows?
Bert?
Ernie? Grouch? I don't know.
Oscar the Grouch?
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, this is actually a good fit. Doug Burgum is a very outdoorsy person himself. Secretary of the Interior is perfect for him.
Okay.
I think everybody, even when he was on stage as a presidential candidate, said that guy should be Secretary of the Interior.
Yeah.
So yeah, confirmation, yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Energy Secretary, very important position. Chris Wright. The Energy Secretary oversees energy, environment and nuclear growth, research and security. The department manages the national stockpile of nuclear weapons, materials, and nuclear waste. So very important position. Tell us about Chris Wright.
Yeah, Chris Wright's an interesting guy. He's 59 years old. He is the CEO of a company called Liberty Energy. So we would have an energy secretary that knows something about energy.
Fascinating.
Yes, it is. His background, he has a mechanical and electrical engineering degrees from MIT.
That's impressive.
That is very impressive. My thoughts are finally an energy secretary who knows about energy. He is replacing the absolute dimwit Jennifer Granholm, the former governor of Michigan, who knew nothing.
Yeah, we were talking about this morning, and you were telling me a little bit about him, and I said, and your tone was just super neutral, and I'm like, wait, it's a good thing. He knows a lot about energy, and you're like, yes, it is a good thing.
Yes.
Confirmation.
Yeah, the Democrats are going to fight him a little bit because he wants to open all sources of energy. So
you mean in the U.S.?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be great?
Absolutely.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Crazy.
All right. Education Secretary Linda McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Secretary of Education oversees all federal school-related policies and regulations for K through 12 and higher education. It's also in charge of student loans. And as a former teacher, when I was a teacher, I was very, very invested in this because I saw a lot of things go wrong in the Department of Education. I'm no longer a teacher, thank God. But this is fascinating. Tell us about Linda, because this is unusual.
She's an interesting person in general. She is a little older, 76 years old.
Okay.
She actually led the Small Business Administration in Trump's first term. She led it from 2017 to 2019.
Okay.
Excuse me. She and her husband, Vince, are billionaires. They both ran the WWE, was at World Wrestling Entertainment for 30 years. And boy, you want to talk about growing an industry.
They did. Yeah.
So my thoughts on this, it's a good pick. She understands that the mission is actually to close the Department of Education. In fact, she says she will be the last Secretary of Education.
Okay.
Yeah, right. You're going to take a job to go shut something down. I love it.
I actually kind of like that.
That's why I like, she's 76 years old. It's like, I don't have any other stuff I need to do. I'm a billionaire, let's shut this thing down and leave a legacy.
Okay.
Confirmation, absolutely yes.
Really? You don't think they'll fight that?
They will fight her, but I think this is an issue I think that Republicans will rally around.
Okay. All right. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. This is the one I really thought RFKJ would get. The EPA leads the U.S. efforts on the environment, including enforcing laws and overseeing regulations, and including on how the country addresses climate change. I really thought for sure this would be RFKJ.
I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah, but it seems like more of a fit. But anyway, tell us about Lee Zeldin.
Lee Zeldin, he's 44 years old, so another young guy. He's a former congressman from New York from 2015 to 2023. He's actually a lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserves.
Okay.
Lee Zeldin, this is an outstanding pick.
Why? What does he know about the environment?
Well, he understands the overreach in bureaucracy.
Okay.
And he was a very effective congressman. And that's difficult to be in New York. He actually ran for governor and gave Kathy Hochul a real run for her money.
That's right. That's how I know his name.
Yeah,
that's right.
And so he's got a high profile there.
And
he has promised, his major mission is to rein in the absolutely out of control EPA.
Okay.
The regulations up the yin yang. He wants
to
get
about
rid
the confirmation?
He will, but there will be a fight.
Yeah, I think so too, for sure.
Because again, he doesn't buy into the whole climate change crap either. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Housing and Urban Development, or otherwise known as HUD. We've got Scott Turner. HUD oversees housing laws and investigates housing discrimination, along with overseeing a number of housing-related programs, including home ownership and rental assistance. I would also think that HUD oversees welfare housing. I forget, Section 8.
Low income.
Yeah, low income housing. So tell us about Scott.
Well, HUD is another one of these that should be like the Department of Education, should be gone.
Okay.
Right? Okay. But Scott Turner is an interesting guy. He's 52 years old. He is a former NFL player for 9 seasons. I think he was a cornerback, if I'm not mistaken.
Because being a football player helps you understand HUD. Continue. I'm just kidding.
But it's an interesting background. But he was the executive director of the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council during Trump's first term.
Okay, so Trump knows.
Yeah, he's also a former congressman from Texas from 2013 to 2017, so 2 terms. He's also currently a pastor at the Prestonwood Baptist Church in Texas. That's a big church down there.
Okay.
My thoughts on this is, like I said earlier, this department needs to go, but it will still be there.
Has he said that?
No, but it's one of those that you're going to fight your battles. Get rid of the Department of Education first. This could be next on the chopping block.
All right. What about his confirmation?
Yes, he will get confirmed because he's a black pastor with some experience in government. The Democrats are going to choose to fight another day.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
So
that was great.
Yeah, there's a lot of waste there. We can see. We didn't even. Maybe next week we're going to talk about Doge.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Oh, good God, where could we cut? Let me count the ways.
Okay, that would be good. That's good. So if you want to hear us, tell our audience what Doge is.
The Department of Government Efficiency, which is not a department. It's not an official government department. It is going to be an outside advisor.
Yes.
With Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk.
So if that's something you want to hear us talk about, let us know. My favorite conservative at gmail.com. All right, let's go to our sort of signature segment. We don't have a week in Windsor or a week in with a WTF, although some of those nominations were WTF.
Sure.
So let's go to our very well-known This Week in Woke from our friend Stephen Davis at Turning Point USA. Thank you, Stephen. I'm going to do the headline, and then you're going to give us a story. Here it is, folks. Minnesota hospital apologizes to staff after providing free Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Free Chick-fil-A, people. Okay, some of the best sandwiches on the planet.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yes. Let's go to the article. A Minnesota hospital apologized to staff members after failing to adhere to its, quote, values of respect and justice for handing out free Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Essential Health in Duluth employees were provided with free lunch offered by the fast food chain in St. Mary's Medical Center's atrium last week. However, internal emails obtained by the Daily Wire revealed discontent among employees, with some expressing outrage over the decision. Do we not get upset about idiotic things?
I think that's the whole thing. No, it gets really good.
A medical laboratory scientist who uses they, them pronouns in their email signature wrote, quote, "I'm not sure Essentia realizes the message they are sending to their LGBTQ plus employees or patients with this affiliation. The sandwiches might be free, but the implicit endorsement certainly has a cost."
Is it Essentia or Essential?
Essentia.
Okay.
Okay. Essential. Right. Oh, okay. Essential. Okay.
No. I think it might be Essentia.
Okay.
Anyway, all right, continue.
Anyway.
And yet there's another employee.
Yeah. So it's just a sandwich, one employee countered. Plenty of items Essentia Health uses in the healthcare industry, to include supplies and equipment, were likely made in China.
Great point.
It doesn't mean that Essentia supports communism or government oppression. Amen to that.
All right, continue.
The hospital clarified in the email that the free sandwiches were, quote, not intended to endorse a business or business practices, and reiterated the hospital's dedication to respecting diverse perspectives. And in closing, quote, "In the words of Maya Angelou, when we know better, we do better," the email read. "Thank you for giving us grace as we work to be better together."
Okay, I just want to say a couple things about this. All right, so people, free food, and it's Chick-fil-A, super yummy. How many jobs do you get free food? Doesn't happen very often. And when Edward first told me about this, I immediately thought of Domino's Pizza. So the founder of Domino's Pizza is very
Tom Monahan.
Thank you. That's why we work well together. It's very pro-life, anti-abortion, wasn't shy about it. That was his stance. And then in the mid-90s, there was a period of time where I was like, do I want to order from Domino's Pizza? Like, do I want to support, this guy, even though it's actually a franchise and the person I'm ordering from, the franchise owner, is not the actual owner of the entire, company. And so I was kind of on the fence about it. And so there would be times where I wouldn't order from Domino's Pizza and I would choose Pizza Hut. But the fact is, Domino's Pizza is really good. Okay. It's great. And if I were at a job where it was free, I would eat it. I mean, come on. This is a pick your battles kind of thing. I can't believe we think it's Essentia Health. I think the essential was a typo. I think auto-corrected on my end. Essentia Health, I can't believe you kowtowed to your employees. I can't believe it.
Yeah. And to me, my message is to the left, these people that are upset about it. You have to stop being the party that's perpetually offended.
Yeah.
That is no way to go through life. If you are constantly thinking you're a victim about everything, good Lord, just buck it up. It's a great sandwich. The fries are amazing.
Oh, best waffle fries.
The chocolate shakes. And by the way, the shake machines work all the time.
I like McDonald's.
Yes. So grow up, grow a pair.
You know what I think it is that people who are perpetually offended, you have not actually faced a really tough, life-threatening situation before. Because when you face something like that, and I have, and I won't go into it, it can change your perspective on things, and it shows you what really matters. This doesn't matter, people. It's a free freaking sandwich. You can choose not to eat it. That was the other option, by the way. You didn't have to eat the sandwich. That could have been your protest.
Yeah, and I think on that point, when the whole microaggressions became a thing. That should tell you something right there. When something is micro, it's really small. Okay? And it's not worth the worry. It's not worth, getting yourself upset about.
All right. Anything else before I close us out?
That is it. Take it home.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us live today. We see you, and please follow us on all the social media platforms. And we know we've been gone for a little while, but we are going to be live for the rest of the year on Sundays, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. And we stream live on YouTube, Rumble, LinkedIn, X, and Facebook. If you're listening to the podcast, which always drops on Monday, please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast, available wherever you're listening right now. Those reviews really, really help us, guys. So please be sure to do that. You can support our show by joining our locals community or buying us a cup of coffee. And all of that information is on our website. It's that little banner right there. Right there. It's streaming. There we go. myfavoriteconservative.show. That's myfavoriteconservative.show. And also, if you want to be a guest on the podcast, shoot us an email at myfavoriteconservative@gmail.com or go to our website and contact us there. So, and we don't need conservative guests or only conservative guests. We had a great guest with Randy Dillinger. So we like having very, different conversations with people who have different views. And as most of you know, I'm not nearly as conservative as Edward here. I don't consider myself conservative. So if you want to join the show, let us know. And if you would like us to be on your show, I did have a libertarian podcast reach out to me.
All right.
So if you would like us to be on your show, please reach out. And I am talking to you, Roseanne. We want to be on your show. Okay. You're killing it. All right. Thanks, guys.